Hi, Collective. It's Intuitive Pisces Moon, and I am bringing you a shadow reading today. So, I am being called to go deeper into analyzing our shadow at this time, and I feel that the collective is strongly being guided to do so as well. You can see my sage bundle here is very smoky, so there's just a lot to cleanse at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I have a shadow oracle deck that I'll use today. And then I also have two clarifying decks to use. One is about our personal repair, growth, and evolution, and then also pertaining to love situations. So I hope that resonates with whoever wants to hear this today. Again, if you're not prepared to go into the depths of the shadows, this reading is not for you. This is going to go deep down and probably uncover some possibly uncomfortable truths that some of us are not ready to hear. So that's my forewarning to you all, and I just wanted to thank you so much for being here. I do truly appreciate your time and energy exchange. And if you're new here, welcome. And if you've been here for a while, thank you so much again. I do truly appreciate it. Okay, so the deck that I'm getting into is called Dark Mirror. So I just want to do a past, present, future reading and see where we're at in our shadows. Our hidden truths, the things that we bury deep down inside. Okay. So the first one out is sacrifice. Okay, we'll keep that as the past. And then we have I won't cry for you. And that is the present. All right, Spirit, let's get one more for the future. One more, please. We have colorless angel. Okay. Numbers represented on these cards, 7, 22, 10. Maybe those resonate with someone out there. Okay, so I am going to read from the book, only on these cards in particular, just because I do love the way they get deep down into the shadow of it all. So let's start with number 7, sacrifice. And again, this is pertaining to our past. Now, I like also that this references moon phases. Okay. So this is waning gibbous, and the stage is anger. Even if you have to break apart, as long as it serves a purpose. A beautiful female knight wears heavy armor. She holds a blade in front of her, and a blade of light slices across her face, showing the deadly seriousness of her stare, the mirror of her resolve. I have accepted my duty, and in my release, I found freedom. There is a strong power in sacrifice. Our fears, our hopes, they are all chains to a small world. Our sense of self is a small, petty creature of uncertain resolve and shaky horizons. With sacrifice, we renounce our sense of self. We accept to be lost. We accept to be shaken and cut and bruised and hurt and burdened and locked and stricken and despised, gossiped, betrayed, to be misunderstood, and to be left alone, to rot, to die, with just words of thanks while the world goes on over our broken dreams. But when we drown our sense of self to sacrifice, we are also a greater person. We are screaming, I exist. I make the difference. We accepted a price to pay, and we used our blood and tears as currency. That give us the right to stand tall. Okay. Wow. Okay. So this is past energy. So this has to do with what is it that we gave up for something? What did we sacrifice in ourselves for possibly the greater good, possibly for someone else, in a relationship, in a friendship. How much of ourself is left after the parts that we cut off to please other people? All right. Now, again, that is a tough message to hear. So this is past energy, thankfully. All right. So as a collective, we are now realizing what we have sacrificed and to what purpose we did so. The majority of us are finding out that we cut off our arms, our limbs for someone else and for it to not be appreciated. Sometimes we cut off our own arms in spite of ourselves. Self-sabotage. Okay? So what you're being called to look at is, what have you sacrificed for whomever or whatever? Okay? That could be a really good journal prompt to dive deeper into that realm. Okay? So let's do our repair, evolution, and growth. So this is pertaining to ourselves. So what do we have to go along with this sacrifice, please? And again, we'll also get a love situation to tie into this. So let's start with ourselves. What do we have to go along with this sacrifice? Okay. We have denial and deception. There is a situation that you are refusing to see clearly. Living in denial can create false scenarios to see things that are not accurate. Have the courage and discernment to dig deep into the truth of the situation. Okay. So, some of us have been unwilling to admit what we have sacrificed. Or maybe we understand fully what we sacrificed, but what we're unwilling to admit is that something was not reciprocated. Okay, maybe you continued to cut off your limbs for a person and they never returned the favor to you. Like, you would give the shirt off your back, but they wouldn't do the same back to you. Okay, so again, looking at whatever it is that you have sacrificed in the past, dig deeper and see the truth for what it really is. Okay, and I know that's tough. Again, this is not meant to be an easy reading here today, people. Okay, I did put that disclaimer out in the very beginning. The bottom of the deck is isolation and lonely. There is a tendency to push people away by isolating yourself from uncomfortable situations. Look into new ways to break down the walls to create better ways to connect with others. Don't keep your light to yourself. Open up to share it. Okay. So that could be another aspect of it. I'm actually going to put this here. That could be another aspect of the sacrifice. We may have sacrificed something, felt the hurt and pain from it, and now closed off ourselves to anything new. And that could be part of the struggle, part of the denial. So there is an aspect of us that, again, we keep hidden, and that's okay. Nobody is saying that you have to go out and show everybody the real you. Some people don't deserve that version of you, especially these people from your past. Okay? You don't owe anybody an explanation. You don't always have to tell people what it is you're doing or working on in your life at the moment. And if you are invited somewhere or somebody wants your energy, you wholeheartedly are allowed to say no. And not only that, but you don't have to give an excuse or a reason or an explanation as to why the answer is no. Nope, I'm good. And if they ask, it's up to you if you want to get into detail, okay? Entirely up to you. It's your life. But your power lies in your privacy, in your solitude. And you don't owe anybody any explanations. I don't care who they are. All right, let's get into the love situation. So let's tie this sacrifice into love. How has this sacrifice affect us in our love situations? Okay, this one. So we have storms of love. Conflict is an opportunity for growth and change. Okay, so what I'm gathering with this is that some of us who did the sacrificing may have started to realize in a relationship that, hey, I'm the only one giving here. What's with that? And it may have caused conflict. So you probably retreated into yourself, again with the isolation, and said, you know what, I'm just going to stay quiet, keep the peace, because it's easier. It's easier than fighting. But here's the thing, when there is conflict, it is an opportunity for growth and change. So that's part of the lesson that we are learning with this sacrifice. You are not required to sacrifice yourself in any relationship. I don't care who it is. Even with yourself. You have to bargain with yourself. I'm willing to sacrifice this for this end result. But you're talking to yourself, and therefore you understand the terms. You cannot always control how other people react or treat you. What you can control is your contribution to it and walk away from it. It is entirely your choice. Now, if isolation and loneliness is sort of one of your fears, that may be something, again, to journal on and to work on, because being alone does not mean being lonely. You may feel that way, and it can get real, touchy at times. But you don't have to be in a love situation if it is not reciprocating and you are constantly the one sacrificing and not the other person. So there's no give and take. It's just give, give. All right, bottom of the deck, we have between the lines. Uncover the truth carefully and write your own ending. See, that's your choice to walk away from something that doesn't serve you. Okay, you're starting to see the patterns emerge, maybe with a particular person or maybe in just relationships over and over. Okay, even friendships, doesn't have to be love, but love did come up. So you are uncovering the truth now. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And now you have the power to write your own ending and walk away and not engage in this. Okay. All right. Let's get into the present. So this is number 22, and it says, I won't cry for you. All right. So this is third quarter moon phase. The stage is acceptance. Sometimes when it's over, closure must be created, not just found. With her back to the light of the moon, a beautiful woman with deep blue eyes sheds dry tears of blood. She holds in her hand a drop-shaped vial, full of blood as well, and she gestures forward as if offering it. I gave you my last gift. I shed my last tear for you. It's time not to let you free, but to let myself free. Breaking up can only be done by two persons. One will do it earlier, maybe, but sooner or later the other will follow. One can afford to do it with words and actions. The other probably will only be able to do inside their own heart. It's painful. It's definite. It's hard. It's sometimes necessary. Breaking up is not just letting go of a person. You are letting go of a part of yourself, of hopes and dreams and trusts. You let go of feelings and memories. You let go of the emptiness that you felt and the connection that you relied into. Anger will help at the beginning, but the last part of the road can't be done by just anger. Closure comes when you dry up your tears. It is a gorgeous moment when you allow yourself to frankly just don't give a damn about it. All that was past is not a credit or a debt. It is just suddenly no more than a gift. You can raise your chin, After all, tomorrow is another day. Okay. So what's interesting about that is a relationship-based situation right there. So that is about two people breaking up. And again, you may get tug and pull where one person doesn't agree, one person wants to leave, the other person wants you to stay. That's what this card is saying is you may not get closure. So if you left or someone else left, you may not get a reason why. Kind of like here, you don't owe a person an explanation. In a relationship, you still don't owe them an explanation. And sometimes closure doesn't happen. Closure is given to you by yourself. Okay, whoever got that last word in, maybe that isn't the last word. Maybe there will be communication further down the road. Maybe you want nothing to do with this person ever again. And you just want to go your own separate way. And again, what you take with you are the lessons. You take with you the memories. And that is all. All right, let's get into our self-growth for this pile. What do we have to go with this, please, Spirit? We have sacrifice. Look at that. Sacrifice came out twice now. Reclaim. Your strength is needed to pull back your power and gain perspective of the situation. You have gone through an emotional sacrifice for too long. It's time to claim, balance, and nurture yourself by standing in your power. Wow, that's so powerful. So again, this is you saying, I understand that I sacrificed a lot in this relationship. But now I understand that I can no longer do so. For my own sake, for my own happiness, I must move on and I must stand in my power. Okay, bottom of the deck on this one is inflexible change. You or the person involved are set in ways that are impeding growth. Be more open-minded and see the other person's point of view to expand your perspective in a healthily, oftentimes being too rigid masks the problem that causes imbalance and unrest. Flexibility is needed to create flow. Okay, so I'm getting like tyrant energy, stubborn. There again, it's also going back to this conflict. So I'm very much seeing that there have been times where there needed to be conflict resolution, and instead of receiving that, you may have received a cold shoulder. You may have received gaslighting. You may have received nothing for your troubles. Okay? So whatever it is that you received or didn't receive, it doesn't matter at this point because it's in the past. And what you're accepting at this point now is that it is what it is. Again, I'm taking my lessons, my growth with me, calling my power back, and moving on with my life. And that's really all you can do at this point. Okay? Again, there's no debt, there's no credit. You just wash the slate clean and you move on with your life. You start fresh, you start new. You remember again, you remember the good times. Sure, you can remember the bad times. Nobody really wants to remember the bad times, but they pop in every once in a while, and that's kind of how triggers occur, okay? Maybe in the future you get into a relationship and you go to talk about a conflict and part of some old pattern pops back up and you're like, oh, I've been here before and I remember how this person acted and it wasn't good. And now I feel like I need to retreat and I'm getting turtle. So it's really funny. Retreat in to my turtle shell because I'm afraid that if I start to talk about conflict that, again, I am sacrificing myself here and getting nothing in return. Okay, it's like talking to a brick wall. All right, let's get over to the love situations. This is already about love, so let's just go deeper with the love. Go deeper with the love. Okay. Prickly defenses, barriers caused by past hurts block you. Be patient. Yep. It's exactly what I just said. Because, again, we may go into the next relationship and we may remember sort of what occurred in that past relationship. And it may come to a point where it triggers you. Oh, I remember what this old pattern was in this other relationship, or maybe many other relationships. I go to talk about my problems and it's suddenly a big problem. It gets blown out of proportion, or they shut down totally. That is a tough situation because it makes you shut down, again, emotionally, because you're not opening yourself up as you should be. Conflict should be something that we can openly discuss in relationships and not fear repercussions or fear a drawback of love. That's called conditional love, people. All right, bottom of the deck here, we have entangled. Establish and communicate your own boundaries. So that could also be another issue from the past. Maybe there were a lack of boundaries. Again, with the sacrifice. Maybe something occurred where this person says, I really need your help with something. And you're like, okay, and you drop everything and you do it. Maybe you sacrificed your time when you should have been working on something for yourself, but you wanted to help this other person. So you just sacrificed you and your time to go help them out in that situation. So boundaries are very, very important. Not only that, but communicating your boundaries. Okay? If we don't communicate our boundaries, even if it causes conflict, how would anybody know where the line is and whether to cross it or not? Now, it's a different story entirely if you have established and communicated your boundaries and they continuously cross it. That's different, okay? So there's two sides to that coin. Whether you're not communicating or establishing your own boundaries for your own self, or you have set them and communicated them and you have people constantly, breaking them or crossing them. So those are red flags, and those are things to pay attention to and to understand that, again, conflict should not be the end of the world. Sometimes we are allowed to fight and argue in relationships. It does not mean automatically that person hates you and you're going to break up and it's never going to be again. Healthy relationships have healthy communication, and that means talking about the good times and the bad times. And sometimes someone might just do something that rubs you the wrong way. That could be a part of you needing to communicate your boundaries. Hey, I didn't like it when you made fun of this thing I have, whatever it is, the color of my hair, the way I walk, whatever thing it is. I didn't like that you made fun of me for that. It hurt my feelings. And again, if they continue to laugh and cross your boundaries and continue to make fun of it, red flag. That's you needing to say, all right, I gotta go because I have sacrificed myself enough and I need to go stand in my power and move on from this. Okay, so let's take a look at the future. This is number 10 and it's colorless angel. The moon phase is first quarter. The stage is denial. It is better not to feel rather than feeling pain. A dark horse prances proudly in the background, unnoticed by a man kneeling upon a pond. He wears a crown of myrrh, his face expressionless. Behind him, wings of smoke and bones grow or disappear. Apathy is the crowned king of nothingness and the shining queen of whatever. We can be Siegfried, the dragon-slaying hero, but not when he slays the dragon, nor when he is betrayed and dies, but when he is simply doing nothing. We can be Michael the archangel, while he waits bored and motionless, and St. George, surprised in a moment of stillness and nothingness. All the strong rivers can become a swamp when they reach the plains, and the most yummy food can become gummy after a couple of hours unattended on a table. There is a lot of darkness when we make the habit of going gray, We numb our senses with the fog of delays, and then we just get indifferent to the fog herself. I'm here, we whisper. And if by the very tiny chance someone notices and replaces and asks, who's there? We become shy and we stay silent a little more. You cannot be saved unless you face the dragon. And the dragon hurts. Of course it does. Okay. Wow. So this is about complacency and doing nothing. That is a tough card there. Okay? So one of the hardest lessons that I had to learn on my spiritual journey is there is no one coming to save you. There isn't. There's no knight in shining armor. They're not coming to save you. You know who's saving you? You are. You get to be the version of yourself now and save yourself from whatever it is that you're complacent about. This is also you going back and saving your inner child. Okay? So just remember that doing nothing isn't getting you anywhere. Okay? This is the whatever attitude and just failing to move forward in any direction. All right. Let's get our growth to go with this. What do we have, please, Spirit? With the future of doing nothing. Betrayal revealed. The situation will reveal to you the intention behind it, whether it's you betraying yourself in some way or another person or situation. You are being asked to unmask the truth by removing any blinders that hinder the clarity that is needed. Okay. I'm glad that this said betrayal of yourself or someone else. It could go either way. Let's be honest here. All right? So if we feel that we have been betrayed by someone else, that's completely understandable, and that really hurts. But guess what hurts worse? Sitting there and letting yourself do nothing about it. You've got to stand up. You've got to stand up and you've got to stand in your power. Only you can lift yourself up and save yourself. All right, bottom of the deck here is addictions. Compassion. The situation is influenced by an addictive behavior that is influencing you or the person involved. Pain and trauma are being projected. Try to see the truth of the situation by stepping outside of the chaos to create an opening for forgiveness, patience, and compassion. Now, addictions can mean really anything. We could talk about substance abuse. We could talk about alcohol abuse. We could talk about abusing our bodies in what we ingest every day. We can talk about, again, being complacent and sitting around and doing nothing. We don't exercise. We don't want to do better for ourselves. There's just so many things this could pertain to. And also is true about someone being, I'm trying to think of the word. It's when someone helps you be the addiction, an enabler. There it is. The enabler. So are you enabling yourself? Is someone else enabling you? Are you enabling someone else? These are all, again, very good journal prompts to go through and ask yourself. Remember, this is to dig deeper. These are things that we shove down and are unwilling to look at on a normal basis. Your average person is not ready for this message or any of the things that I've said in this reading today, because this can be very overwhelming. And I fully understand that. I'm definitely not trying to put a shiny mask over it and say it's delightful. It's not. This process is ugly, it's dirty, it's hard, it's painful. But you know what comes out at the end of it? a bigger, better, stronger you, one who stands up for themselves, one who isn't complacent, one who goes out and gets what they want, knows they deserve it, knows they're worthy of it. All right, let's get into how this pertains to love. All right, that one flew across, and that one came out in the reverse, so we'll take it. What else? That one also. Okay, there's our two. Okay, so the first one that came out is Faded Revelation. Uncover the omens, decipher their meaning, and embrace your destined path. Your destined path. So, this is about us trusting our intuition. Okay? With betrayal, I'm very strongly tying this to self-betrayal. Maybe there have been plenty of times in our lives that we knowingly went into a situation, full well knowing what the outcome is logically to be, and did it anyways. And knew that we were going to get hurt, knew that we were sacrificing ourselves, knew that the relationship was going to end in a breakup because, again, we weren't compatible, or, again, maybe you knew they were using you, but you were lonely. All right, the other card is Hanging On. Release the past and let yourself love again. So that's part of the other problem, Love can be an addiction. And some people hang on for too long. They stay in relationships for too long. And again, I'm not sitting here on my soapbox preaching to all of you because I've been there also, okay? I too have hung on too long. I too have sacrificed myself in relationships. So what our message here is to release it. Whatever part of you resonates with whatever was going on here in the past, you no longer are that person. You are allowed to, what I do is have like a goodbye ceremony for them. Like, thank you so much for that version of me that I needed to get through this part of my life. But I am not that person anymore. And I send you off with love and compassion and forgiveness and healing. And now you get to stand in your power and become a whole new person. And you may even get some of these people from your past that try to interact with that version of you. But remember, you can't go backwards. Once you have healed past that and you try to fit into those old patterns that you've already healed from, it will not even feel right to you. And you'll know right away how ick it feels to try to go backwards to something that you have moved on from. All right. So that being said, I am going to close this reading with some oracle messages from Spirit. Let's just see what advice we can get from Spirit. Okay. Self-awareness is key. Take time today to go within and spend time with your soul. Go for a walk in nature and ground yourself. Meditate. Listen to your favorite music. Whatever you enjoy most, do that today. And I'm also getting with this card, especially with the sacrifice, is that you have sacrificed those things over time. So if something that you used to love doing in some relationship or friendship, that other person maybe didn't like doing it as much, you slowly started to push it to the side and say, okay, maybe I won't do that anymore because this person doesn't enjoy it. And instead of kind of taking it and going and doing it by yourself or with other friends or other people, you've just kind of set it to the side and said, I'm not going to do that anymore because this person doesn't enjoy it with me. Make it your mission to accept all parts of you, the good and what you perceive to be your imperfections. Don't look for any outside validation. It's already within you. Once you realize your true beauty and potential, you will never doubt yourself again. There it is. That's beautiful. You are not moving too slowly. Drop the self-induced pressure. You are at the sweet spot between taking care of yourself and still making advancements on your goals. On this path, there is no such thing as being behind. Smile, breathe, and carry on. If your mindset is fixed, try to free yourself from that and rise above it. Don't place limitations on what you think you can achieve. Don't stand in your own way. Allow yourself to flourish in all ways. Welcome abundance in all forms into your life. Yep. So again, that goes back to this betrayal and addictions. It's not always that somebody else betrays us. Sometimes it's us that betray ourselves. Okay? Stand strong in your convictions. Stand strong in your boundaries. Make sure you first establish them and then communicate them. And again, it's your choice whether you allow people to continuously cross over those boundaries. Whenever you talk to us, it never goes unheard. We hear every single word. This is your confirmation that we are assisting you, guiding you, and ensuring your wishes finally come to fruition. Be patient. Everything will come together for you. Slow down and take your time. There is no need to rush. You are already doing your part. Trust that what belongs in your life is already making its way towards you in divine timing. Take some time to rest and rejuvenate. You need to pace yourself with the changes that are coming your way. They are all positive. Bigger and better things are coming for you. Just relax and trust. I love it. Bottom of the deck. Make sure you don't start seeing yourself through the eyes of those who don't value you. You need to know your worth, even when others don't. You are not what people think of you. I love that. Honestly, if you are, let's just use a job as an example. If you are in a job where you don't feel valued, what you allow is what will continue. You're going to keep showing up to that job. They're going to keep paying you what you've agreed that you are worth, and there will never be any change. It's up to you to decipher what your worth is and what you put your time as a value to others as. And again, with the self-betrayal, if you don't see it, others are definitely not going to see it. The whole point of this is to see your own value in yourself first, your worth, and that's what you communicate to others. Okay? I am a high worth individual. I have boundaries. These are my boundaries. If you cannot respect my boundaries, then you cannot spend time with me. That's just how it works. Again, everything is an energy exchange. We get to decide who is in our energy and who is not. If someone continuously devalues you, it's time to move on. You've got to stand up for yourself because remember, nobody's coming to save you. This is you needing to stand up and save yourself. Save yourself from your own betrayals, your own toxic habits, your addictions, whatever occurred. Okay? So, again, I know that these messages are tough to hear. I'm here with you. And I just want you to know that we are all dealing with this. Okay? The best way to know yourself deeper is to journal about it. Don't go ranting to Aunt Sue about it, because Aunt Sue is just going to perpetuate your negativity that you're expressing. And then, again, think differently of you. Like, why is this person putting up with this constantly? I don't understand it. Why do they stay in these relationships? So, your biggest ally, aside from your spirit guides and your ancestors and all those people, your biggest ally is you. You. You are the one that stands up. You are the one that says, this is my power and I'm standing in it. These are my boundaries. You are not allowed to cross it. And if you do cross it, goodbye. And you know what? We are infallible. So I will say that there are times that are going to occur where you're going to put a boundary in place and you might let somebody cross it. Maybe they're going to test your resolve on it. Oh, you said that this was a boundary. I'm going to cross it and see what you do. Okay? So it may be tough at first, especially in a new phase of your life. But eventually people will get the message and they will respect your boundaries. And if they can't, if they absolutely cannot respect your boundaries, you know what to do. It is time to move on. All right. So that is my message for you today. I just want to thank you all so much for being here, and again for your time and energy exchange. I appreciate it. I wish you all a lifetime of happiness, health, wealth, abundance, and as always, love. Make sure you're filling your own cup up with love, and make sure it's unconditional, compassionate, forgiving, patient love, because that's what we want and that's what we need to give ourselves. Go within so you never go without. That includes journaling. That includes sometimes isolating and being alone. And just remember, you're never alone. You may feel alone, especially at first when you first kind of burn some of these bridges. You may feel alone. And that's okay. That's when we're here to trust our intuition and to receive the guidance that's being given to us on a regular basis. All right. Keep in mind that I'm a beacon of light here to help guide you through the darkness. Thank you so much again for being here, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.